Thanks, Professor Dolan, for the introduction. And hello, everybody. Good afternoon. And thanks for coming. Either you are in person or you join online, and welcome to this seminar. And I'm Sida Wang, and I joined MRSD in summer 2015 and graduated December 2016. And so today, this presentation only represents my personal view. I'm not any representative of any of my current or previous companies, and I'm not able to share any confidential information. So this is a guideline for today's talk. So first, I would love to share my academic and industrial experience before, during, and after MRSD. And then, since I'm working in a pretty big company, so I would love to share my experience, my software engineering work in big corporations, and also talk about what's a different experience for work in a big company compared to working in a small company. And the next session will be what I have gained from MRSD program. At last, we will have a Q&A session. Yeah, so before MRSD, I graduated from Tsinghua University for my undergrad, and it's located in Beijing, China. And my undergrad major was engineering physics. And so in the senior year, I did for my graduate thesis, I did a project related to 3D medical imaging reconstruction. And I wrote a lot of code, and I learned a little bit about computer vision algorithms. So I think that makes me feel very happy about writing code and exploring robotics algorithms. So from my undergrad thesis experience, I applied to robotics for my future master program. And then I came to MRSD. And at that time, there were 3 semesters plus a summer intern. And 3 semesters basically mean we have to take 5 courses in 1 semester. So that was very intensive. I think now I've learned that you guys take 4 courses per semester, but it's still very intensive. Yeah. And for the first couple of years for MRSD, they only have 2 semesters. And I remember a several month co-op to work in a company for an intern. I think now 4 semesters probably can help you guys learn more courses, gain more experience. So I feel it's a good change. And I did my intern in LinkedIn in Bay Area. And so this is so the left is a group photo for our class of 2016. If I remember it correctly, we probably took this photo right before our graduation. So this is our group photo of our class at that time. It was probably 30-something people. Yeah. And the right photo was when this guy in the Minion. So this guy, we held a birthday party for this guy. And he called Rushek, and he is still living in Pittsburgh. And I think he is working for Near Earth Autonomy. Yeah, and yeah, so when I was in MIC, and I used to have a little hobby is to take photos for people using different sleeping positions, sleep in different locations in the company. In the school. And I had a Facebook album called Sleepless in Pittsburgh. So I downloaded some of my photos at that time, and yeah, so if you want to achieve a lot of things, there's no guarantee you can sleep enough every day. So it's very it's very predicted. And also I think I posted on my Facebook in this November 2015. I think that was last 3 week schedule for my first semester. So there is no surprise why I have so many dues. And I didn't remember how I finished everything, but now I graduated. Yeah, it's a surprise. And yeah, so let's talk about our capstone project. So our sponsor is Professor Katya. So she is a robotics professor, and Robotics Institute, and we had 5 teammates, including me. And so we name our team called the Robographers, because the robots will automatically detect your facial expression. When you smile, they will automatically take photo for you. And let's see whether or not we can see it. Oh, sorry. Let's see. Oh, 1 second. Oh, sorry. Let me see. How can I play the video? Where's my presentation? Oh, maybe let's not play the video for now, and then let's continue our presentation. So, so literally, we used a software to detect our facial expression. And when the probability of you are smiling is higher than a certain threshold, we will automatically take the photo for you. And we used 3 robots together. And first, they will track you, and they will track your position, and also they will track your facial expression. And yes, let me see.
Sir, we're not seeing the slide.
Oh, let me see. Sorry, I'm very bad at. Yeah, maybe let's show the video for now. So, yeah. So this is I think this is a tracking, and so I think the tracking was what we achieved for the first semester, and then was a detection system. I think now this person is doing is probably calibration, and then we have the face tracking in a very weird way. Yeah, and when the person is smiling, yeah, he smiles now, and we can see the system would like automatically, yeah, shoot the photo. Yeah, so this is pretty much how everything works. And let me see. And so 1 second. Yeah, so what I have learned from our capstone project. So first, it is the biggest project I did in my school life. And I think it is a very good preparation for what I would do for my career, because most of the time in the company, we also need to do a lot of big projects with a lot of collaboration and work on multiple aspects. And second is like, I need to learn how to build a very good collaboration relationship with teammates. As in the company, you need to collaborate a lot with your teammates or people from other teams. So I think this is a very good experience, like to help us to improve our collaboration and communication skill. And the third one is good system engineering experience. So as a student, most of the time we don't focus a lot on system engineering, but I've heard about a very good saying says that any good engineer at the same time is also a good PM. So if you want to be a senior engineer or a very good engineer, you not only need to know the technology, but also need to learn from the product's perspective and need to track different systems parallelly. And yeah, so I think system engineering experience was a very good preparation for my career. And we did a lot of documentations and the presentations. So I think, in the school, most of the time we write code and ship code, and that's it. But actually, in the company, you need to make sure other people understand what you are doing. And so this is a very good communication, either in presentation way or documentations way. So that you don't want to work silently. And I think thanks to multiple presentations and documentations during my MSc program, I think after work, I feel more comfortable when doing presentations, documentations. And the next one, understand different areas of robotics detection, planning, tracking. So for my personal experience, like our projects focus on multiple aspects in robotics area. So I think it is a good experience for me to learn different areas in robotics domain. So that's a very good training for me. And so this is our robot autonomy projects. And I believe it's drawing hello, but not hell. So, but it looks like drawing hell, but I believe there's an O at the end. And I don't know if current robot autonomy course probably changed a little bit because the professor taught this course left the CMU, and I think he joined Amazon Robotics. So because of professor change, so maybe I don't have, I'm not quite sure about how current robot autonomy course work now, but at my time, it taught a lot about motion planning. So I gained my initial understanding of motion planning in robot autonomy projects, in robot autonomy course. And for our final projects, we built something called robot art. And so you can control the robot art and to ask him to draw whatever you want. And the next part, so for my summer intern, I did my software engineering intern at LinkedIn. So I flew to California for like 3 months, and the company was in Sunnyvale, and our dormitory was in San Jose. And so overall, it was a pretty good experience. And I worked in advertisement serving platform team or advertisement platform serving team, something like that. And yeah, I think it was a pretty good experience, but that still makes me feel probably I love robotics better than general like IT. So I think that motivated me to explore more in robotics instead of working in just a general IT company. And so that's pretty much my life in MSD. And after I graduated, my first company called Delphi, and then it's changed name to Active. I think now it's called Motional. Yeah, so I joined this company for about a year. And so its main offices are in Pittsburgh and Boston. I think it also has some office in California and Singapore, and maybe some other cities in the States. And the first half a year, I was in infrastructure team. And then I shifted to motion planning team because this is mostly where my passion at. And the company expanded very aggressively. So when I joined, there were only 22 people. And when I left, there were more than 40 people. So it's not only doubled, but also squared. And so what makes me feel most unforgettable was 6 months. The whole company went to Las Vegas for 6 months. And we flew to Las Vegas every Monday morning and flew back to Pittsburgh every Friday afternoon or every Saturday morning. And so the left picture is like our temporary office in Las Vegas. It is a house, but the first floor was just our office. And the right photo was the depot for autonomous driving cars in Las Vegas. So we have a lot of cars. And we did a very good job for CES 2018. And what I have learned in Delphi, so I think I learned basic motion planning technology, especially motion planning for self-driving technology in Delphi. And because I need to collaborate with different teams, so I also learned localization, perception, prediction control. It is a very good experience, makes me understand each components for self-driving cars. And also I accumulate a lot of on-road testing experience. So our car is like a BMW and it's very beautiful. And so the right photo was took when, I think that was my 100 days anniversary at Delphi. And so the guy standing on the right was my manager, my first manager. His name is Jun-Sung Kim, and he also graduated from CMU. He was a CMU Robotics PhD graduate. And it was a very happy work experience there. And after that, I joined Robotics. So now Robotics has been acquired by Waymo last summer. And I worked there for maybe a little bit over a year. And this is a company only focused on motion planning for self-driving. And it's located in Pittsburgh. And so this is the first only focus on what the second only is this is the only company in the world that only focuses on motion planning for self-driving. So there are two onlys in the sentence. And the CEO is Professor Maxim Lekchev. He is a CMU robotics professor. I think he's still working part-time in CMU. I think he spent 1 day in CMU, and now he spent like 4 days a week in Waymo. And so he is an expert for motion planning, especially for A-star variants. So he published a tons of paper on A-star variants, and we use a lot of tricks about A-star variants in our projects. So it is a simple but powerful tool. And so it is a very small company, only like less than 10 people, 1 CEO, 1 tech lead, 1 business developer, and several engineers. And a small company usually means you can contribute more or you can own your own projects. So that makes me feel I really contribute a lot to the company. And so what I have learned from Robotics, so I improved my understanding of motion planning technology because I think we applied so many different A-star variants in our projects. And I think that was had a good academic atmosphere. And we read papers and especially our tech lead called Jonathan. And he was also like a CMU robotics PhD graduate. And I think now he's also in Waymo after the acquirement. I think he led very good technical direction. And so I think I improved a lot in technology's perspective, and also finished 2 pretty large projects independently. So I think that was probably the time where I wrote most of the code, a lot of code. Yeah, so overall it was very, very happy and productive. And after that, I joined Waymo from summer 2019. And I guess probably most of you guys are familiar with this company. So this is a level 4 autonomous driving company headquartered in California. And I'm still in motion planning area. So I'm still in motion planning team. Yeah, so I think because we need some legal approval from Waymo, so when they reviewed my slides, they say, oh, at the very beginning, I said it's a level 4 self-driving company. And then they said it's not self-driving, it's autonomous driving. So they asked me to change. But I don't know what's the difference. Not a lot of difference. Yeah. And yeah, and share some photos. So last photo was in, I think October 2019, when Professor Dolan and Sarah visited Waymo. Almost 3 years ago. Yeah, time flies. And I think at that time, there were 3 MISD alumni. Yihao, Suganda. So this girl called Suganda. So he is a product manager in planning team. And Yihao, he used to be a perception engineer, work on computer vision. But I think he just left Waymo and joined Apple, and me. And I remember Yihao left for a meeting earlier, so he didn't get a chance to happen in the picture here. And so the right photo was, so we launched our RO project in Phoenix, and it was literally rider only. So there's no driver on the driver's seat, and the company sponsor every employee like 1 day. You can fly to Phoenix and to experience the like rider only car. And I visited there like in fall 2019. and I got a pretty good experience there. Like self-driving is happening, and makes me feel very, very, very proud as an employee. And what I have learned from Waymo. So first, standard coding style and the focus on readability over writability. So before I joined Waymo, I didn't feel coding style was very important. As long as it works, it means it works. But if you work in a large company, your code will be read by many people. And maybe even after you left the company, people are still checking your code. So that means the readability is weight over writability. So you need to make sure other people understand your code, and also it's better for like open to feature extension or something like that. And what else is I gained hands-on project experience, design, implementation, evaluation, launch, and post-launch evaluation. So since it's a pretty big org, and we need to make sure our project really improves the car's performance, and we need to go through the standard engineering process. It's very necessary, especially for big companies, because small company is more like build everything from scratch. So you can just ship code, and ship code. But if in a large company, maybe part of the system is already stable enough. So what you add should at least do not regress a lot, and it's better to improve something. So this standard, I think, engineering process is pretty important. And also I learned a lot about engineer and team collaboration. So in a big company, most of the time, the boundary between teams and the boundary between engineers is not so clear. So sometimes you need a lot of collaboration, a lot of communication. And this is not only when you want to become a manager, you need to do it. If you are just an engineer, if you want to be a good engineer, you should still focus on it. So I think that's also a very important skill. And the last one was presentation and documentation. So I think last year, I probably did 6 or 7 or 8 presentations in Waymo. And I feel the company encouraged people to communicate, because communication will improve work efficiency. If you work silently in a big company, maybe not everybody know what we are doing, and maybe there is overlap or duplication, so that's not efficient. So I think presentation documentations in big orgs are pretty important. And I think that's pretty much my experience before, during, and after MSD. So next part will be software engineering in big companies. So first, let's talk about technology. Coding style is always the first thing every engineer should improve after joining a company. And I think we talked a little bit about readability over writability. I think I used to receive more than 100 comments for a single part of code. Sometimes the lines of the comments is more than the length of the code. Yeah. And I feel, I think this is a very good training, and it should guarantee your code doesn't make the code base worse. And next is documentation. So when I was in startups, I didn't remember we need a lot of documentations, because there were only like 3-5 engineers. You can just talk to another person, hey, what are you doing? But in the big companies, maybe documentation sometimes is the best way to present your idea and achievements, because not everyone would have the time to read every line of your code, but everyone may have some time to read your doc. So write good documentation is a very smart way to work, and to make other people know what you are doing and know what you have achieved. And the next part is project process. So in Waymo, when we will do a project, first start from a design. So in the design, includes, for example, headroom analysis. So you need to make sure what you want to improve is really worth investing so much human resource or blah, blah. So you need to make sure, oh, here is a big headroom here. And what method? So this convince people why you want to do it. And then you need to think about how you want to do it. And also you need to, probably sometimes you need to have a schedule, like maybe I need 3 months for these projects. First month, what I want to achieve. Second month, what I want to achieve. And third month. And also who will you collaborate with? Is it an individual project or you need to collaborate with other teams? So they should be better documented in the design doc. And after you finish your design, most of the case, there will be a design review. So the reviewers are mostly tech lead managers and some senior engineers. So because they have a lot of experience, so they will help you understand what's maybe your solution is not optimal solution. They will provide constructive feedback to you. And so once your design got approved, we can start implementation. We can start our implementation stage. So a lot of reviews, code reviews, comments, especially when you just join the company. I think after you join the company for maybe over a year, you don't need a lot of, you will not receive a lot of comments. And after implementation, we do testing. Sometimes I feel I probably spend more time on testing than implementation because the system is already mature compared to a very beginning stage of startup. Like in some big companies, the system is already relatively mature. So what you improve, sometimes it may regress some other metrics. This is a little bit regression is allowed, but it's a big regression. We need to catch it. Maybe your algorithm run very good and it makes the car improve the safety and make them more manual-like, but it has a lot of timing regression. This is not allowed. So we need to list all the metrics. This is what our main achievement. We improved this by, for example, 20%. And these metrics didn't got affected a lot. And there is maybe some small regressions. So this all need to be handled in testing. And so we put our testing results in our launch doc, and we will hold a launch review session. And the launch review session reviews are similar with the design review. Still, the reviewers are mostly tech lead managers, senior members, to really make sure this project improves our car's performance. And there's no risk. And after launching it, no safety risk or something like that. And so they will approve it, or sometimes they will ask you some questions like, have you considered this? Have you collaborated with this? And you probably need to take their feedback into consideration. And once it's got approved, we can launch it. And sometimes we will have a post-launch analysis. So post-launch analysis is, now the car has your software. Let's compare what is changing compared to the car without your software. So I think that's a more realistic, that's the most realistic evaluation to check whether or not the software improves the system or how much it improves the system. And the next part is communication. So I think for California companies, a lot of companies had a lot of one-on-one meetings. But I know the companies I used to work in Pittsburgh, they didn't have a lot of one-on-one. So maybe we have some cultural difference, I don't know. And so for one-on-one meetings, it's most common meeting formats for Waymo. Most of the time, it's like 30 minutes each. And we have one-on-one with managers, one-on-one with mentor-mentees, and one-on-one with some colleagues, which maybe have some overlap with your work. And so for most of the cases, we have weekly one-on-one with managers. And what I usually discuss with my manager, well, there are like 4 topics: well-being, projects updates, career development, vision. So I think Waymo or Google or Alphabet focus a lot on employee work happiness. So the manager want to improve your work happiness. So they usually want to be happy and want to stay in the company and also to be more productive. So they will ask you, they want to help you on whatever maybe you are not happy about, the unclear boundary, what should I do, what another team do, and I think your manager will be very happy to help with. And the projects updates. So this is what you have done, what you will do, and do you foresee any risk about the delay? So it's always very good to communicate with the manager. And so career development is something like what do you want to grow? What do you want to learn? Do you want to learn more about machine learning? Or do you want to learn more about collaboration? Or do you want more presentation opportunities? Or if you join the company for over some time, let's say you join the company for a year, you want to promote to the next level, can we work out like a promotion trajectory? So I think this is something really help you grow, and this is something your manager care about. And so next one is vision. Vision is what do you think the team should focus on? What do you think the team should, maybe which team should we collaborate, and which team is our user? Or we should, what technology is missing in our team? Or do you think we should improve the mentorship system in our team? So these are all your manager will very care about, and you will also care about. And when people just join the company, I think some engineers, when they talk to their manager, they talk a lot about projects updates. They talk all the details of the projects, what I have done, I have done a lot. You should know I've done so much things. I had a lot of efforts, but this is not something we should focus too much on. So the manager want to learn more about you instead of your projects. So they want to see you have a potential, and they want to help you success. And so I think projects updates shouldn't, I mean, I think that depends on manager's taste and also the employee's taste, but I personally don't want to spend a lot of time on projects updates. I think that's my personal feeling. And, oh, you have a question?
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yeah, sure.
This is so many different types of meetings and communication. Out of a 40-hour work week, how many hours would you say are in these meetings?
Oh, that's a good question. I think when I just joined Waymo, 40 hours, I think on average, every maybe 3 hours when I just joined. But after I joined Waymo after 2 years, it becomes difficult to count. Yeah, maybe 2 hours per day. Yeah. Yeah, and weekly meeting with mentors and mentees. So this is mostly a technology-based discussion. And also we can always schedule a one-on-one with colleagues to understand their work, to build good collaboration, and for consultation. So sometimes I read the doc, the code for 2, 3, 4 hours, but I couldn't figure out. But 30 minutes one-on-one can be more efficient than 3 hours documentation reading. Yes, and the next part is about regular team meetings. So most of the time, each team or project working group will have regular meeting updates weekly or bi-weekly, and mostly focus on just technology driven, like projects updates or what should be done, what have been done, something like that. And the most high level meeting is all hands. So for Waymo, it's like a bi-weekly for most of the cases to understand the company direction, company achievements, what happened to the company, and what is company's this year's top priority. They all will all delivered by all hands. And so everyone wants to perform well in the company, but what does perform well mean? So it has 3 metrics to evaluate your performance: impact, complexity, and leadership. Impact is what you have improved by number. So you cannot say, oh, I improved the car safety by a lot. it's not a good way. Or by significantly, this is not a good way. You can say I reduce potential collision by 25%. So always try to show your work or present your project by numbers. The company loves numbers. The company doesn't like a lot, significant, very good. So these are not, I don't think that's compared to numbers, they are not precise enough. And complexity. So what does complexity mean? So very intuitively, it includes technology complexity. So you solve a very difficult problem, use a very difficult algorithm, write a lot of code, and it touch different area of robotics. So they are all complexity. And also complexity can also mean in terms of collaborations way, like multiple team collaboration. You work with so many teams. This is all a demonstration for complexity. And you solve an open issue. Before you solve it, nobody knows how to solve it. But after you solve it, it's a good way. And you can work under uncertainty. Because work in the company doesn't, I mean, it's very different from a work in the school because there are so many uncertainties. And you can work through all the uncertainties and still have good achievements for your projects. This is also a demonstration for complexity and your ability. And the next part is leadership. So leadership, what is leadership? Sometimes I feel leadership can probably define how far you can go in your company. And so what is leadership? So for junior members, leadership mostly just means be able to work independently, because most juniors, they need a mentor to guide them. And that's very recommended to have a mentor and receive guidance. But once you join the company for like a year or 1.5 years, you are expected to work more independently, no longer rely too much on other people. And for senior member, leadership also means like mentor junior members. So you are not only responsible for yourself, you're also responsible for your team, especially help junior members grow, to senior member. So that's show how your impact on the team. And also make technical and managerial impact on your team or cross the team is also leadership. So leadership is how much you can impact others. And sometimes organize meetings. So I think these are mostly happen to tech leads or managers. You organize either a team meeting or a projects update meeting. So you can organize a meeting like a bi-weekly meeting and have a very clean and very organized schedule for the meeting. This is also a good way to show your leadership. And do presentations and organize presentations. So you are not, you don't need to be so quiet in the company. And once you want to do it, or once you have already do it, you better share it with more audience so that the people can give you feedback and the people can know what you are doing without duplication. And so on the organized presentations is like, it's also very important. And for example, you work in a project, 5 engineers work with you together, and you organize this organization, and you organize people, the 5 people, and let's do a presentation together. And who should say first, and what's the next, and what's the third part, and blah, blah. So this is also a good way to show your leadership. And also good collaboration with other people or team, or be able to initiate the collaboration. So in the company, sometimes, even if in the large company, that doesn't mean you should only focus on technology. You should also do some advertisement work, because it is like you need to, for example, if you build a software, you want more people use it. And so you need to initiate some collaboration with other teams. So my tool can help your team to, for example, better measure timing performance, something like that. So I think this will make the company work more efficient. So I think good collaboration with other people or initiate collaboration is also a good demonstration for leadership. And the next part is about the tech lead and the manager. So we have 3 types of leaders: tech lead, manager, and a tech lead manager. So what is tech lead? So tech lead don't manage people. They provide technical guidance or advice. So they initiate new projects and lead technical directions. So they not only initiate, but also they need to supervise the project end to end. So they need to supervise the project to make sure it makes progress and launch properly. And also they are reviewers for other colleagues' design or launch reviews. And tech lead can be a tech lead for a team or a tech lead for a project. For a tech lead for teams, like my team have a tech lead. And most of the time, this tech lead role lasts relatively long term. But a tech lead for a project, sometimes if a project finish within a year, then the tech lead role will probably also disappear after a year very naturally. So for manager, so this manager is like a pure people manager. They manage reports. They don't focus too much on technology. They focus more on people. So they manage reports, they define team mission, they define scope of each reports, and they manage reports, career development and performance review, and they collaborate with other teams, etc. And TLM, tech lead manager, is a combination of TL and M. So if I'm a tech lead manager, you focus on both technology and the people. And in most of the cases, for a small team, managers are also TLs. And so for most of the small teams, it's like we have one person called TRM, and that's it. So he provides technical guidance, technical direction, and manage people's performance review. And yeah, so it's most of it happens for the same person. But for larger orgs, managers are not TLs, they purely manage people. Like for directors, most of the time they no longer TLs, they just manage teams. And so at a certain time in your career, maybe you need to choose whether or not you want to dive into technical path, like be a tech lead, or a managerial path, be a manager. But they are not conflicting with each other. Once you are a TL for some time, it not only means if you are a good TL, then that means you are not only have good technology ability, but also you can manage people's technical project progress very well. So that also means you have a good potential for manager. And the same for manager. If you are a good manager, you should also have a very good understanding of the technology. So they are kind of have overlap, not exactly the same, but they are not conflicting. So if you are tech lead and it can be naturally switch to a manager, or if you're a manager, you want to focus more on technology, you can also switch back to tech lead. And yeah, so next part is junior and senior engineers. I think I've mentioned a little bit, and let's create a summary table. So for junior engineers, most of the time they do their own projects, sometimes with help from senior members. And for senior engineers, they spend more time on helping and impacting others. And the junior engineers, they don't do a lot of reviews for others, but the senior engineers, they do more code review, design review, and launch reviews. For junior engineers, they work on a well-defined task assigned by their manager or mentor. And for senior engineers, they need to figure out what you should do by yourself. And for junior engineers, like most of them, not an open question, not an open problem you need to solve. It's mostly with clear solution. But for senior engineer, you need to solve some open problems. And so that's related to that person. So I think another student just asked a question about how much time spent on meetings. So for junior engineers, probably not participate a lot of meetings. But once you become a senior engineer, meetings will become more and more. And you will spend a lot of time on collaboration, defining project scope, providing guidance, etc. So next, let's talk about big companies and the small companies. I used to work on several people's company in Robotics, and like hundreds, like medium-sized company in like Emotional, and now Waymo has like 1,000 people, and there are pros for both big companies and small companies. So for big companies, it has very good mentorship system. Whenever you join the company, and you will also be assigned for 1 or 2 mentors, and they will help you ramp up on the team. They will help you to form a very standard engineering procedure, you help you code review, and help you understand the company, help understand the doc and the code. And also it always have good code quality and documentations. It has a standard engineering process. And also it has clear level system and promotion trajectory. So it will give you very clear definition about what the company expects you to perform in different levels. And for working in startups, it's easy to take larger responsibilities, and it's faster in making bigger impact. And we can spend more time on technical problem and less time on meetings. So if you like technology much better than joining the meetings, maybe startup is you will feel happier. And I mean, my personal experience tells me my previous colleague relationship in Robotics and Motional was pretty close, and the people have lunch and dinner together. Sometimes the guys play basketball on the weekend, and in big companies sometimes it's difficult to form. I mean, my personal experience, difficult to form a kind of a relative close relationship with colleagues. And yeah, okay, so I think that's software engineering in big companies. And the next part, I will talk about what I have gained from MRSD program. So first, there's definitely a lot of project experience on a big technology problem with collaboration. So this is what we are doing in our project course. A lot of technical issues we need to solve, and also a lot of collaboration, a lot of presentation, a lot of documentation. So I think that is exactly what I'm experiencing at Waymo. So I think that's a good preparation for future career. And also presentation and documentation skills has been improved. A project course and the system engineering course, I think, give us a lot of good opportunities to improve those skills and build basic business insights. So outside MSD, I didn't remember I really took any business class or read any business books by myself. And I think in MSD, we have some business required course and optional courses that I think help me to not only view something from technology's perspective, but also business perspective. Because I think the business, some people say this way, like the business is a one and the technology is the following zeros. If there is not the one, no matter how many zeros, it's just zero. But if it has a one, a good business model, and then we can add more zeros to make the technology better. Yeah, and a good system engineering insight from system engineering course. And at that time, robot autonomy course focused a lot on motion planning. And this is what I gained, motion planning basic knowledge. And yeah, and also multiple required and elective courses. And I have listed some of the courses I took or audited that I feel very helpful. But maybe they are not very up to date because they are like several years ago. I like artificial intelligence course, machine learning. And if you want to learn more about planning, I think this is Robotics CEO, Maxim Lekchev. He used to teach this course, but I'm not sure if he's still teaching this course now or yes. Oh, that's good to know. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah. So I think this is a very good motion planning course focused on different algorithms of motion planning and the mathematics foundation for robotics and the introduction to computer system. Yeah, so I think I've listed, I mean, I feel those courses are very helpful for me. And yeah, I think that's my presentation. And thanks for coming. And any questions? Or yeah, it's like for people who join online, I think maybe you can also type or yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
But thanks for the great talk, and I'm sure that people have questions.
Okay. Oh.
So when you went for your internship and your full-time opportunity at Waymo, so how difficult or easy was it for you to get used to the code base and start writing code and actually make some contributions?
Oh, that's a good question because I felt so I joined the team and I was the first and the only master in the team. Everyone else was PhD. And so everyone else was PhD in math, computer science, robotics, or mechanical engineer. So it is very competitive. And the algorithm was not so easy to understand. Yeah, because in the past, I thought planner is just something like a planner.cc. That's it. But in Waymo, it's no longer this case. And so it took me, I would say the first year was ramping up on our code base. And yeah, it's once you join a big company, it really takes some time for ramp up, familiar with the code base.
How about your experience during your internship?
During my internship, I think still took some time, but I think the technology difficulty in LinkedIn is probably not as much as Waymo motion planning team. So I think overall the technology bar was not very high. I mean, at least in my team in LinkedIn. So I didn't remember to be very, I mean, took me a long time. And I also used to have a mentor for my intern. So that was pretty smooth ramp up. Yeah.
I'd like to ask a follow-up on that because I think it'll be instructive for a lot of folks. You mentioned that everybody else was a PhD on the team when you joined it. And a lot of times I get questions about what's the difference between the roles and the opportunities for master's students versus PhD graduates in most cases. And we've had experience with that at Waymo and some other places. I thought maybe you could comment on.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I feel when the company is at the beginning stage, maybe need some PhDs to like set the direction. What is our planning framework like? What algorithm should we use for perception? But after the company become maybe larger, and we actually need more software developers, and then we don't necessarily to hire so many PhDs. So at the very beginning stage, Waymo used to hire probably most of the engineers are PhDs at the very beginning stage. But in the past couple of years or 3 years, they start to hire more and more masters, want to make more engineering contribution instead of research contribution. So that's my understanding.
And as a quick follow-up on that, what do you think are the differences with respect to opportunities for the types of jobs you described, tech lead, technical manager, various other things, given this distinction between master and PhD?
That's a good question. I don't think that really matters. Yeah, I don't think that really matters. My current manager, I mean, I think I just switched to another team several months ago. So my previous team, I mean, everyone was a PhD, but my current team, my current manager, she didn't have PhD degree. And I don't think that, I think mostly your leadership or your vision defines whether or not you can be a good tech lead or manager, but not your research experience defines you. So that's what my understanding is. Any questions? I think somebody stood in the back. Yeah.
What do you miss most from your time with
What I miss the most? That's a good question. I think overall the education quality in MSD was pretty high. And even if I graduated from MSD, I still sometimes go back to CMU to audit to some courses. And also I miss the time when the people at the same age can work together on our project towards the same goal. And sometimes with sleep, sometimes without sleep. And yeah, I think that was very happy, and it's difficult to achieve similar atmosphere after you go to work, because probably some of your colleagues have family and they have like, yeah, they're in different stage of the life. But in MSD, I think it's like people work together, and yeah, I think that kind of relationship makes me feel very happy. Yeah.
Most of us have 1 year of MRSD course left now. So what's your advice to make the most of it, so given that can help us in the future?
So you mean what can you gain the most from MSc project or the program?
In general, the program, how our approach should be for the next 1 year.
Oh, so you have 1 more year left, and okay, I see. Yeah, I think probably 2 parts. The first part is so I think for MSD project, I think that is probably the core part of our education, and it is a really good practice for your collaboration, for your technology, and for your presentation documentation. So I wish people could could learn more, make it maximum in your study. And the second part is you can still take some technical electives. And I think for people who already know what they will dive into, maybe you can focus on the courses they probably, if you are pretty sure you want to work as a computer vision engineer, then maybe choose some computer vision courses. And for people who don't really know what you want to do, but maybe just general robotics, and like me, when I was in MSD, I didn't really focus too much on motion planning, but I explored a lot. Like I took artificial intelligence course. I think that was a very good course. It talked about a lot of different aspects in robotics. And so for people who just interested in robotics, but not really know whether or not it's localization or planning or perception, maybe if I'm still in this stage, I probably will also take some introduction courses to help me understand where my interest is. Yeah.
How is your work-life balance?
Work-life balance, I would say Waymo overall has good work-life balance. I think in autonomous driving domain, because it's mostly startups, so not every company, not every robotic startup has good work-life balance, but I think Waymo is probably above average. But compared to Google, I think Google's work-life balance, maybe they don't have, not every team has a lot of work. so yeah, so I think compared to Google, we still have work-life balance because we have both work and life. Yeah, so I think sometimes people is more self-motivated. So I never experienced any time where like a PM or manager push me to work overtime or something like that. And most of the time, the deadlines are set pretty reasonable. Because safety is always important than work efficiency or how fast you launch the project. So I feel overall it was good.
It should be better now than when you're in the program, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, I think so. Questions?
You mentioned you switched teams from like infrastructure to motion planning in your first company. So how easy it is and how common it is the startup to switch different roles?
Overall, I have experienced 2 times team switching. The first time was when I was in the first company. I think yeah, I think power off. First time was in my first company, and I switched from infra to motion planning, and that was a startup. So actually the reporting chain didn't change. So I reported to CEO, and after I switched, I still report to CEO, and it was very natural.